Hello YouTube, Nathan Dewey here, doing an unboxing of the long-awaited Blade Runner Systems Alpha Beast production Balisong. I ordered this in mid-May, and they have just only recently gotten the first shipment out. So, see it's still in box. Let's open this up. This video is intended to be an initial impressions, what I just feel are just good first look impressions of what you have in front of you, what you can expect. Blade HQ, the box, anything else in here? No. Alright. Blade Runners Systems.com. Good box. Got the padding. Here's the business card. Blade Runner Systems, BladeRunnerSystems.com. Rules of engagement. Number 1. Know and comply to all applicable state and local laws pertaining to use and ownership of product. Number 2. User/owner assumes all risk in handling the use of product. Number 3. Product is warranted from manufacturer defect. Ooh. Oh wow. This looks and feels a lot slimmer in hand. Get a good feel for it. I like the chevrons. They're surprisingly grippy, but not overly so. They don't feel like they don't have the square corners like on the original McTegs do. So feels very nice. Actuate the latch. That is a very good sign. See how much space you have, how tight that is? That tells me that this latch will last a very long time, that this will hold up to really any flipping use. This isn't going to get loose or get actuated in the pocket. Gonna move the box out of the way. Definitely has a very subdued kind of matte finish to it. Looks nice. Check the tang pins. No movement. There is slight machine marks along the tang, though that also has been smoothed out. Just some very slight signs of rawness that's still left over. Dome latch works with no issues. Alright, out of the box play. This is without me Loctiting it or adjusting it or anything. Very acceptable. More than acceptable, I would say. Alright, gonna move some more stuff out the way. It's kinda hard to get this in focus. Definitely feels different. I don't know what it is, but I think it's like a combination of like the weight and the length. I don't know how much engineering went into this, but it definitely feels like a different Balisong. It feels more controlled, if that makes sense. Let's try for a fast draw. A little bit of twirling. Yeah, this definitely feels lighter than it looks. I have a scale right here. Let's get the exact weight, because sometimes with retailers they get the weight off slightly. So 5.1 ounces, 5.1 ounces, 5.1 ounces, 5.1 ounces on the button. Do some kind of flashlight detail tests. There is no gaps in between the scale and the spacer. Okay, so no gaps on this, on the safe handle. Very slight gap in this region right here. There's a very slight gap, meaning that the scale and the spacer don't quite butt up entirely, but it's a very minuscule. What else? You'll notice that the latch stays at a right angle and goes no further. That's one of the factors that allows the domed latch feature to work. That's very good. Try some fanning. Again, it feels different. I don't know what it is, but it's very controlled. That's the word that keeps popping up in my head. Is controlled, controlled, controlled. It's worth mentioning that all the hardware on this knife are T6. That could be good or bad depending on how you look at it. It's good in that you only need one bit driver to completely take this apart and clean it. The potential downside is that the pivots are just that much more delicate, you would say. You know, T6 screws, they just have a tendency to not be so great in terms of just, you know, pocket. They're more likely to strip out. Not to say that this won't strip out, but general rule of thumb is that the smaller Torx drivers tend to be a little less durable. Though experience with this knife might vary. I don't know. So when you get this, you will need to Loctite and oil it. Make sure that you use a proper fitting Torx bit driver. You make sure that the bit is all the way in the head, and you use moderate pressure. You do not want to bear down on these little screws. Make sure also that you use a non-permanent thread lock. I prefer Permatex Thread Locker Blue Gel. Another thing worth noticing is that the tang cups are not all the way through. This serves two purposes. This both keeps for sometimes when you do chaplains, if the tang cups are cut all the way through, they'll tend to bite into your finger, so this will prevent biting. And let's see how much pin it occupies. Okay, from where I am, the pin takes up at least half of the handle thickness, which should be adequate. You wouldn't want to go any shorter than that, but again, no issues. No issues that I can really see. Do some measurements. Where did I put that tape measure? Okay. Forgive me if I'm a little off. I'm looking at the camera from here, so it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. All right. From what I can tell, this is half-inch. Yeah, half-inch handle thickness. The pivots are. Alright, what it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I hope this isn't too boring. You know, this is just me giving the people an idea of what to expect. So this isn't really a flipping demo, this is just me getting familiar with the knife. Alright, the handle width near the pivot is just over 3/8 of an inch, just a hair over. The handle ends width is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9/16 in the width right here. Blade thickness is just a hair over 1/8. This is a pretty beefy blade. You will notice that there is no swedge. So something to consider. I don't know if it really means anything, but you know, it doesn't have a swedge. From what I can tell, that's just a good way of keeping the strength, the integrity of the tip. It might also have to do something with balance. Don't quote me on that, but man, Balisong designing is hard. This is really just me rambling, but yeah, Balisong designs are tough, man. It's not just, you know, it's easy enough to just say longer handles, weight biased on the ends, but you also have to consider all these other different factors, like, you know, how you distribute the weight, how heavy should the blade be, at, you know, at what point, where's the balance, you know. So a lot more goes into it than just, you know, heavier handles or lighter handles, longer, shorter. It does, you can tell this was done out of a labor of love. This was, everything was thought out in terms of design. I am very pleased with the finished product. A little bit rough in terms of bar stock in the tang area. A little bit. The tang cups aren't 100% symmetrical, but at this point it's just nitpicking. In terms of functionality, there's nothing I can really complain about. What's also nice is that the chamfering prevents biting. One of the big things with the 42, and sometimes if you grip it a certain way, the handles will pinch the meat of your fingers, but with this knife, not only do you have more handle to work with, but the chamfering also prevents that. So, you got your thumb right in here. You would really have to stick the meat of your hand pretty deep in to feel the pinching, as far as I can tell. Alright, that is my first impressions of the Blade Runner Systems Alpha Beast. Oh, before I do, I should do a cut test, shouldn't I? Okay. Here's a packing peanut. It's got a good edge on it, out of the box. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe a week of just flipping this, getting familiar with it, allowing the Loctite to cure, and maybe a full review. Oh, double check. Another thing about the tang pins, This one seems to be even on both ends. This one is, there's slightly more pin exposed on this side. Again, very minuscule. I'm honestly just nitpicking. There's no doubt in my mind that this thing will last pretty much forever. I'm just, being as detailed and nitpicky as possible because that's what the community wants. They want someone to really go over this thing with a fine-tooth comb and see if there's anything, not so much wrong with it, but something to be aware of. Just an idea of where that money goes, and what the Blade Runner Systems Alpha Beast kind of is, what it stands for, what it's just the level of detail and the value, I guess, the overall value. First impressions, yes, this is very high value. I would, if you're on the pre-order list, don't cancel it. You will not be disappointed. I am certainly not. Thanks for looking. Take care.